What's going on, everybody? Uh, Pretty sure we're live.
We are
Going to
live.
check.
How exciting.
What's going on? This is B-SCI's Give a 28 live stream. And it's also kind of functioning as our season premiere for the podcast. So, this is a podcast by B-SCI, the Black Science Coalition Institute, where we talk about science. And I'm Jonah Chapman, geoarchaeologist. And as always, we have the dope chemist herself.
Jana Carpenter.
And today we also have Public Health Bay, the one and only.
Dr. Chanel Towson, what's up?
Every time Chanel is on the podcast, she does the best intro ever. Like every time without fail. Yeah, me too.
I mean, we got to liven things up. Make people give. Because today is 8/28. It's a give day,
8/28.
Right? We got to
Give
give
8/28.
Give too.
Exactly.
Yeah, so for people who don't know, Give 8/28 is it's a day where a lot of Black nonprofits are doing different events and celebrations to commemorate some of the things that happen in the Black community on this day, August 28th, because there are potent moments that happen. One, Emmett Till died in August 28th. I forget what year right now, but also MLK's I Had a Dream speech, which is also the March on Washington, happened on Give 8/28. And then Hurricane Katrina made landfall in New Orleans on August 28th. And also Obama accepted his Democratic nomination to the presidency on August 28th. So that's a lot. That's at least 4 days that are pretty significant in Black history that happened. The Young Black and Giving Back Institute, which is another nonprofit, started this day, I think 5 years ago, to celebrate all these moments and help make a day for other Black nonprofits to receive donations and just celebrate Blackness, basically. So this is our 3rd year being part of it, and we're pretty happy about it. So we hope you can donate. I will drop the link to that in a second. But hey, what are you guys' thoughts on that? Give 8/28 special day.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really significant day. Like you mentioned, 1955 was the year of Emmett Till's unfortunate murder.
Mm-hmm.
But it's obviously such a good opportunity for those of us who are really invested in helping other Black organizations thrive and progress. This is the perfect opportunity to help us do that. So I'm just so humbled to be here and being a part of it because we have had a pretty good success rate each year. And I'm so happy that Dr. Chanel Tolson is here because everyone always loves her energy. She's like our TV personality. So I'm just so glad she's here.
Yay. Well, I'm excited to be here. I like doing this kind of stuff, but also, B-sides near to my heart for obvious reasons. So of course I wouldn't miss this. It's super exciting to be here for Give 8/28 because last year was my first year with B-side doing Give 8/28, and I asked for $1 and people gave us $1. And so I'm really excited about that. So I'll be live tweeting while we're talking about this for a little bit, and hopefully people will be amplifying the movement. People will be giving us their dollars because just $1. I mean, I shouldn't say it's just $1. Every dollar counts for everybody, right? We're in some really different times right now, right?
Mm.
So we're appreciative of anybody who can give us $1. It's not just $1, and especially for us, $1 goes so long, so far for us. We're able to do so many things when different people give us their dollar. We do things like programming for the kids because everybody love the kids, right? Show a little bit about STEM, a little bit of science, a little bit of chemistry, a little bit of archaeology and anthropology and history. So I just shout out Jana and Jordan right there. If you follow me, then you get a little bit of everything because I'm about public health, but I use STEM as the basis for that, right? And right now, if you're following me, you can see what's going on in my garden and how science to make myself a little bit happier with growing some food. Now, what I haven't figured out how to do yet, if you're following me, is how to get rid of these squirrels, okay? I will maintain that squirrels are just rats with really good PR. I'm standing firm on it. I'm standing firm. They're stealing my crop, y'all. They're They still are my
Right.
goodies in my garden. So question from others. Anyway, it's 8:28. We're here. We live. We are ready to receive your dollars. Help us continue our funding. Help us continue our programming. Please give us your dollars. Thank you.
Yes, like Janelle said, please give us some dollars. If you to do that, you can go to the mightycause.org portal and go to the Black Science Coalition Institute page. Or you can just go to gift828.org and look for Coalition Institute there. And we should be able to see it there. But yeah, those are some options. If you're watching on YouTube right now, I'm sure there are some links in the YouTube channel. But yeah, like Janelle said, we have a lot. We're always talking about things in our board meetings about things to do next. For example, this upcoming season of Be Scientists, we're going to do some new things, and it's also one of the first times we've done. We kind of scheduled out episodes in a way that we didn't do before. For example, Jenna here went to South America, and I'm sure she has some stories about that. Can you give us a little preview about what some of the things you might talk about with that?
Yeah, so I'm in the midst of editing a video, or not a video, a podcast overview of my trips to Costa Rica and Ecuador this summer. And a preview of that kind of will look like a lot of learning curves. As someone who's never been outside of, well, I've been to Europe, but to South America, I guess. Um, it's a beautiful, beautiful country, and there's just so much to learn. And every time you have the opportunity to travel somewhere, you are always given the opportunity to learn something. So that's something that I'm going to highlight, I think, in the podcast. So
Awesome. I can't wait to hear about that.
yeah.
Yeah,
It
I
was pretty
also
cool.
go ahead, Jenna.
Oh no, that's all I was gonna say.
Cool, cool. I was gonna say I'm also gonna be traveling in about a month, and so we'll also have another travel episode. So yeah, we're just traveling around the world, making big things happen. So you'll be hearing about that, and we also got some interviews coming up, and there's a Black Panther movie coming out this year, and we're gonna be talking about that when that comes out. So those
Yeah,
are some
Jordan, do you
things.
want to tell us about where you're traveling to
Yes, I am
and how that came
traveling.
about?
For sure. It was honestly it was weird because so I am going to be traveling to Austria, in Europe, uh, from September 20th through the 30th, and I'll be part of Jackson Wild Summit. And I applied to this kind of like thinking that there's no way this was going to happen. To be honest with you, I think I applied last year and didn't get in. So I was like, they got big names there. I think PBS Digital Studios was there. I think some National Geographic people are there, and I'm like, yeah, I'll just apply. It's just sounds like big wig stuff. So there's no way I'm getting in. But I applied this summer. And was surprised that I got in, and it was crazy because just wildness. I still have a little bit hard time believing that I got in. But yeah, then so September 20th to the 30th, I'll be in Austria. And a lot of it's about doing science communication. About a lot of it's about media stuff, from video editing and stuff like that. I'm hoping that translates into us finally putting content on the YouTube channel, which I'm still working on. And then also maybe even learning more podcast production stuff to make the podcast better. So that's going to be happening very soon. I hope I get to do some interviews with some people there, so that way we can make it a little bit better and get some more perspectives on what's going on there from different people. But yeah, that's happening at the end.
Yeah, and I don't know, just to let you know, you should always feel like you should be in the room. So they gave you this opportunity because you are part of greatness. So
There you go.
congratulations.
I appreciate it. Some other things that are happening. We're still working on a magazine. That's something that's been kind of also put on the back burner as things have gotten a little crazier around everyone's lives. So we are trying to work on that. That's still a thing that we are very much trying to do. So if you are out there right now or watching and you like science writing and like talking about different things, but maybe podcasting not your thing, isn't your thing, and maybe even videos aren't your thing, why not give a chance to be a writer? That sounds like something that people would be very interested in. So contact us at the B-SCI.org, and hey, we can figure something out.
Yeah, so we would love to have you. We love to
For
have
sure.
more faces, more voices, more identities that are able to get the point across. Again, besides about being Black or being a scientist, we welcome all voices to come and get their perspectives. And we need to hear different perspectives, especially when it comes to reaching the youth and other people inside and outside of STEM. So please join us. Think about being a contributor, thinking about shooting us some ideas about what you want to see us tackle, and we'll get to it. But we need your help. First, drop us a dollar. All right.
Drop a
So let's
dollar.
go ahead and go. It's 828, right? It's 828. We are here because of course we love the community and doing the science community, all that kind of stuff, right? We need your dollars, ladies and gentlemen. Drop us a dollar. Visit B-SCI. If you're on Twitter, it's at the B-SCI. At the B-SCI. Okay. And then you can follow all those links. All right. Once you get to those links, look for B-SCI, drop us a dollar, and have a really good Sunday. All right. Happy Sunday to everybody. You got a dollar? Can we have it? Thank you.
Yes, that is such a good point. Because just looking at our Instagram right now, if each one of our followers, which right now we have 886 followers, just crazy. If each one of those people gave just $1, we're almost at 1K. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's even
I
more than
know.
we're asking for, honestly.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's all it would take. And I don't know. I'm sure I could find $1 around here somewhere, right?
Listen,
Probably. I mean, it's $1. It's not that much, right?
I just did laundry the other day. I know I got a couple quarters somewhere. We can pull
Right.
something
and it's
together.
digital. And it's digital.
It's
It's super
digital.
easy. It's digital. Follow that link, drop that dollar. And then listen, one more thing. So we know that money is tight, right? You might not even have a dollar. I'm not counting pockets. You know what I'm going to say though? Sharing is caring. It's also free 99. Okay? B-SCI, give us a dollar. If you can't give us a dollar, that's okay. Because sharing is caring and it's what? Free 99. Share those links so that somebody else can see that donation link and say, hey, you know what? I like what B-SCI is doing. I like what they stand for. Them people are really doing something for the STEM community and for the kids. We helping out the sharing. I'm gonna give them a dollar, maybe even two. Sharing is caring. Free 99. Share that link. Thank you.
So also with, I think we've talked about a little bit, but Chanel here is also not just, she's a person with many hats, like, and it's always crazy hearing about some of the things she does. But one thing she's doing right now is gardening, and I follow her on Instagram, and I'm always watching her do gardening. So Chanel, can you please, I was like, first, how I guess how, that's the first question. It's just
The
how.
saga. So Jordan is getting the saga that I'm having. I have some neighbors that moved into my garden. Okay, they're squirrels. That's what he's getting at because it's been the whole thing. Um, so so I got into gardening because so for those of you who don't know, right? I'm not a city girl. I'm an Aggie girl. So I grew up in a very rural environment. So my granddaddy was a sharecropper, right? And so and my great granddaddy. So I have those roots, and so I grew cornfields and everything, and picking things to go eat, and I just grew up that way. So it's natural for me to want to do that thing. So I live in a city now, and so one of the things being in public health, right, being a scientist, but being in public health and doing community work, being in the city, there's lots of food deserts and food swamps. If you're familiar, a food desert is when you don't have access to fresh fruits and vegetables or healthy, nutritious foods. It's a food desert. A food swamp is when you have an oversaturation of things like fried foods and carryouts and non-healthy foods. So neither one of them, is the greatest thing to have. Either not having access to healthy food at all, or grocery stores within the walking distance area, or being just flooded with fried greasy stuff that will kill you eventually. So seeing that, I think it's super important that people understand that you don't have to have those as your only alternatives, right? I years ago showing folks in the community how to do container gardening. So, and I went to the dollar store and found all dollar store items. Okay. The only thing that was not from the dollar store was the actual soil, the dirt that I used. And so You can literally go to your local dollar store. Well, it was $1, now it's $1.25, and you can get things like laundry baskets or containers that already have holes in them. You can get a pack of trash bags to line it and hold everything in. You can get seeds from there, right? You need. If you want to do your own greenhouse, I use a lasagna pan with the dome over top. And the cups too. Poke the hole in the cup, put some soil in the cup, put your seed in the cup, water it. Put those cups in the lasagna pan, put that dome over it, set it for a window. You've got a greenhouse. All right? $2.50 now for the greenhouse. At the cups, $3.75. What is that? My math is not mathing as much, but but
I'm also not doing the great math in my head right now. So
I
there's
know,
that.
right? But $5, right? And you've got yourself a self-starter kit. And you can do things that your family will eat. You can get the kids involved in it if you have children and get them invested in eating healthier foods, making their own food choices. Grow the tomatoes. These are easy crops to grow, right? When I say easy, I mean relatively, as far as not having a bunch of expertise. You can grow things like tomatoes and cucumbers, zucchini squash, yellow squash. Those are all things that are super easy to grow because they don't take a lot of water. They don't take a lot of with them, right? You just kind of weed them out whenever you need to weed. Super easy. When kids have access to healthier food choices and they have a little bit of investment of growing it themselves, they're more likely to eat it because they grew it themselves. So you're instilling healthy food choices, right? If you have neighbors that want to get on it, if you don't have if a small space is what you're living in, patio, whatever, again, container gardening can be helpful. But maybe your neighbor's growing the tomatoes, you're growing the cucumbers, the other neighbor's growing the squash, so you all can come together. Now you're building community, right? And so again, in the very beginning when I started doing this, I was doing it as a demonstration so that people don't just talk about it, right? I'm not necessarily a talker. I'm kind of like, oh, I can show you, but I can tell you. And so people were with me, followed me, and I grew all these garden goodies for the whole season. And then I showed you how to compost what I was done with at the end. And so this year, when I started out by showing them, look at my compost from last year. Remember all this stuff? My compost is so rich and good, and worms and all that. It was just good stuff. Anyway, so that's the beginning. That's the how that Jordan's asking about. But what I really think he's trying to get me to talk about is these squirrels. I said it earlier, because I live in the city. And so I think that squirrels, and I maintain this, are just rats with really good PR because they're just not nice creatures. They're so cute, their fuzzy tails. No, they will steal your food. And so I have a bird net over my garden space because, so I have now upgraded myself from container gardens on my deck to I've gone to raised garden beds in a little bit of space that I have in my backyard. And so I put raised garden beds. So now I'm in beds, which is why I have the bird netting over it, because now I'm not so close to the house and the birds will come in and scoop things like juicy berries and whatnot, and they'll just peck right in the middle of it because, wildlife. So the squirrels have learned how to chew through the bird netting to eat around the goodies, and then the other half that's on the guard, they leave there as they can't reach it. And so I'm like, and they get it when it's. So let's say you have a tomato that's like green on one side, but it's red almost. They'll eat all the red off and leave the green part and just leave it. And it happened one too many times. And I was sharing this, on Instagram, and I was saying, hey, this is what's happened. They got me again, y'all, right? And so it's been very, very frustrating. On the other hand, I will say this. There are certain things they have not touched because I was lucky enough to move those things around so they can't get to them. And so I have other things like, I had some cucumbers. I have some herbs. The herbs are really good. So I have things like basil and lemon thyme and oregano. They don't touch that stuff, but so it's been pretty good. And little mini tomatoes. Oh, Jordan, did you see my sun gold tomatoes? The orange ones?
I did not.
I had sun golds. The orange ones are sun golds. The red ones are the big boy red cherry tomatoes. I have blueberry cherry tomatoes. They're like purple, like a purple caps on them, but they're like red on the bottom. And then I have lemon drop tomatoes, the little itty bitty. So those are all my little itty bitty ones, right? They didn't touch those. So I got those, and I was able to. Oh, and I also had green onions. Something else. Okay, stop me when I need to start talking about this. Okay.
No, it's fine. I'm very interested.
So, my onion. The squirrels, before I put up the netting, they dug up my onions. So I went to the store and I had to get green onions for a salad or whatnot. And the bulbs, I put those little bulbs when I got done chopping the green part off and just stuck them in the dirt. So I've got green onions in my garden now. So I pull those, I clip those too. You just clip them and they keep growing back all season. So that's good. So I have those. So I made a little salad, tomatoes, herbs, my little onions, and I felt very proud of myself that I grew it myself. Oh, and peppers. I'm growing peppers too, spicy ones. I might do hot sauce if I have enough. If I get enough of them, I'll do hot sauce.
Oh, you should make your own hot sauce line if you could. That'd be dope.
It'll be fun. It's gonna be fun experimenting. I've Carolina Reapers, ghost peppers,
Oh wow.
cayenne. Yeah, I got a bunch of. I'm gonna try to make like a little mix. I'm gonna see what happens. I don't know.
And so
Reapers
the
are really
squirrels
hot.
stay away from those.
Yeah, they don't touch those. Huh? Huh? But yeah,
Crazy.
it's been fun. It's been lots of fun. So I'm hoping the community is getting something from it, that they're watching and they're. It's not just talking about, oh, make better choices without giving people the options that are available to them. Fun fact: did you know that if you were on SNAP benefits, that your SNAP benefits give you the opportunity to purchase seeds to grow your own food and fruit bearing trees?
Oh
Yes.
wow.
So, depends on what state you're in. I can only speak for the state that I'm in, but look on your SNAP benefits brochure or online and make sure you see that detail. You can use your SNAP benefits not just for food in the grocery store, but for seeds and any fruit bearing crop. You can buy them using your SNAP benefits card. Just so you know.
Wow.
Again, this is for the community and this is for everybody in the community. You don't have to have a lot of money to do this or a big space or a large amount of land. And again, that was the impetus for me doing this in the first place so that you can take control over making decisions for you and your family about healthy food options. If you want it, you can grow it. The next step, the next step will be canning. Actually, I'm going to start canning and show folks how to preserve their food because summertime doesn't last that long for us here where we are.
Mhm.
So if you're growing all this stuff in abundance, you got to can it and save it for the wintertime. So oh, that's a big undertaking, but I'm gonna
That's I
yeah.
did not know you could do that with SNAP benefit. That's crazy.
That's
That's
crazy, right?
yeah. That what? Why does that
Yeah,
not talk? That should be advertised more. Like that's one
it
that would
certainly should.
save money for people. Like even if you can't like you say you live in a city, so I'm sure maybe planting a tree isn't always like an option. But like planting some herbs or like tomatoes, like you're doing or some peppers, like it's crazy.
Yep,
Like
yep,
wow,
yep. You can use
man.
that for that. And again, when you think about things like that, and I'm talking about things for the community that are affordable because if you live in a city and you are not in a space where fresh produce is available to you right away, like a farmer's market or whatever, and there are markets in all around the city, but depending on where you are, you may not be able to have access to get to them. Buying seeds, I'm sorry, buying the fruits and vegetables in a store can be expensive, and it costs more and so to buy healthy fruits and vegetables than it does to buy a 4 for 4, 5 for 5. It you could feed a family easier on highly um, processed foods
Mhm.
or junk foods, snack foods. It's cheaper to buy that in some places than it is to buy fresh fruits and vegetables. When you understand that you can use your SNAP benefits to purchase these healthier food items for yourself, that opens a whole new world for you. But also when you know that, hey, I can go to the dollar store and get seeds from the dollar store. Because who knew
Right.
that?
Definitely not me. That's
Yeah.
crazy,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
man.
$1,
especially
well,
with
125 now. But
hmm yeah, community gardens in general seem to be becoming a lot more popular, especially in more rural and misrepresented communities. So I think it's great because I think if people can see that, see themselves, see someone like you doing it and seeing that it's possible, then it's going to become a lot more prevalent in a
mm-hmm.
lot more communities. So that's really important. And you make it fun too, right? Like
Yeah,
we don't
it's fun.
just see, oh yeah, it's so easy to just grow a tomato. Like you show us the reality of what it's like to, really put your love and labor into something and
Mm-hmm.
battling these squirrels.
Yes,
So.
repellent pests. So, so can I
Yes.
talk about being pesticide free? Do we have time for
Mhm.
that? Can I talk about that?
For
Okay,
sure,
so
yeah.
So Jenna brought up a good point talking about battling the squirrels, and I'm going to say pests in general. So I am pesticide free for a reason, right? So I understand. I'm a scientist. I do understand why we need pesticides, and I explain this to the community also. You might have to use pesticides depending on where you are. I'm not saying I am not for or against in either case. I just like to have. I'm a facts person, right? Facts over feelings. I even got a shirt about it. Publichealthpay.com.
Yeah,
So
I've seen it before.
yeah, facts over feelings. So whether you like them or not, whether they are not good for the environment or not, in some cases you do need them because insects are living things too. Do you like tomatoes? Well, so do they. You know what I mean? Like, do you like fruits and vegetables? So do they. And they can decimate your crop like this. And unless you're going to be out in your garden plucking them by one and their eggs because they leave progeny all over the place, right? You may need to use pesticide. I'm not saying to use them or not. I'm just saying, again, this is about facts, right? There are other ways to do that though. So personally, I'm a bio pesticide girl or a IPM integrated pest management girl. So I use other sources of pest management. I haven't found for squirrels yet to rid myself of pests. So this year I didn't have to do much, but I had aphids this year, and aphids are little buggers that get to your plants stems and they suck the juices out of them, and they live really well off the juices of your stems. So then of course your plant dies because there's not enough energy getting to the fruits or to get them to fruit. I typically would take ladybugs and release ladybugs into my garden area because ladybugs love aphids. They're like voraciously feeding on them. Like you can watch them nom 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 nom. It's really interesting to watch it, right? Nature in action. It's
Right.
super interesting. But this year I had an ant colony come into the garden because I did raised beds this year, and so aphids secrete this really sweet substance. I think it's poo, but can I say poo on live stream?
That's
Okay.
just fun.
so so aphids secrete this substance, right? And it's really, really sweet. Well, ants like sweet stuff. So the ants will take the aphids and stick them somewhere where they can use them as a food source. So I didn't have an aphid problem too long because once the ants saw them, they're like, oh yeah, bet. And then you started moving them places. Like, okay, great. That worked out great for me. Like, okay, ant, because I'm not an ant person. Like ants eat everything too. I'm like, y'all can stay because they're helping out.
Right.
Then when it comes to things like other insects that will come and eat your stuff, there's other ways to prevent these pests from eating your crop, like parasitic wasps. They like to eat pests that come in too, but they're natural predators. So I like using, again, IPM, integrated pest management. Now, one thing I did use, again, let's go back to biopesticides. I had slugs. I'm in the city. So slugs are a big deal, right? So at nighttime they come and they don't really feed on the bigger plants, but your little seedlings. If you don't get your seedlings protected, they'll eat the fresh, tender leaves of your seedlings and stop your whole thing from growing. So at nighttime, I use iron phosphate, not iron phosphite. Here's a little bit of science. So iron phosphate, not phosphite, because that ATE and the ITE, totally different chemical properties. So phosphate, iron phosphate. And what it does is they like the iron. They eat it. They're like munching. You can see them munch on the iron, little iron pellets. And iron is kind of persistent in the ground. It won't go anywhere. It stays for a little while. But when they eat it, it disrupts their gut function.
Processes.
Yeah, and then they stop eating. And I mean, it's not the best way for them to go, but I mean, they're pests. So
That's
yeah.
the thing I love about all this is that obviously there's science in it, right? I mean, it's biology, but then you just drop a chemical formula on this, and it's like there's the chemistry right there. So that's amazing.
Science
That's
is in
good stuff.
everything. Science is in everything. And so is public health. Science and public health is in everything. And I hope I just demonstrated that, hopefully.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
If
I'm
I
also
did,
heard people-
hey, if you thought that I demonstrated that great, like a really, really good example, if you thought I did a good job, give me $1. Hit that link because it's 8:28 and we're giving our shit, right? We're having this whole conversation because we're trying to get some dollars to help further our programming. So if you thought I did a good job explaining that, look at my garden story, the little squirrels and everything, hey, give us $1. Please. Thank you.
Yes. Because I want to see more of this, and I know other people want to as well.
sure.
So, I mean, it's a whole series on its own.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
you heard her, you know. If you can, please give us at least $1. That would be great, or whatever you can, or share, or what have you. I also shared it on Twitter. You mentioned the live stream on Twitter earlier, so I was just like, yeah, you know what? Academic Twitter lately has been blowing up. I had no idea that this is what it could be like on academic Twitter, but um, there's a big community of Black people in STEM on Twitter,
Mhm.
Hmm.
um, and so if you are live streaming or looking at our live stream from anywhere, feel free to go ahead and tweet it out to people and let them know where you can tune in to watch us as well, because all the help is needed. All the help is welcome. So,
Yeah. Also, while you probably won't be listening to this if you're not watching it right now, obviously, I am going to try to. I am going to try to release this as a podcast episode before the end of the day, so that way we can get people who might not have been able to. And also, listen, I'm having a hard time figuring out how to make a live stream on Twitter too, so I apologize for that. But I know people listen to the podcast on different podcasting platforms, so there it is, episode 1, sciences. So we're pretty excited about that. So yeah, good stuff. Um, so we won't be here for another like 15 minutes or so. And yeah, so I mean, like I said earlier, like there are a lot of things that are the back burner for B-SCI. Like I said, the magazine, podcasting, and then we just want to do more events in general. So one thing that we are trying to put together now is something called RWLD. And RWLD is an acronym that stands for Read, Watch, Listen, and Discuss. And basically, the idea is that it kind of is like a book club plus, but it's like, you know, there's not people just reading nowadays. There's like a bunch of ways to like get content. So we thought this would be a good way to make something for people who follow B-SCI and then people who might not be aware of B-SCI yet, as a way to get together and discuss and be nerd. Honestly, a lot of how B-SCI started. We talked about before about how Khalil and I, who were both boxers back in Philly at the Mary Anderson Recreation Center, like when Black Panther came out, we spent hours not boxing but talking about Black Panther. And then Chad is also a comic book dude. So when Chad came on, we did a Black comic book science event. So I thought it'd be like a natural progression to make this a little bit more permanent. One, because life is busy, and sometimes we don't always get to talk about things that aren't business related. So it'd be nice to talk to people about things that are super nerdy. So that we'll probably start sometime next month. Right now, I think the date is something like September 10th. But if you follow us on all of our social media, you'll definitely see what the actual date is. But yeah, so nerdy questions are to you two. Like, what are some of the things that you guys would like to do with our WLD?
This is gonna be
ooh,
good.
that
I can't wait to
that's a
read
good
these.
one. Yes. I mean, I know Dragon Con is coming up
Mhm.
soon. I just
You said
talked to someone about
DragCon?
that yesterday. Yeah, Dragon Con.
Oh, I saw
But
pics
Dragon
last
would
year.
be great
That looked
too.
fun.
Yes, I would love to find a way to link up with other Black people in STEM who attend cons in general, just because
Yeah.
we always do. They're always showing up, and their cosplays are always on point. Like every
Hmm.
single time they show out, and usually it's a lot of like science themed, like um,
Futurist, like
just like
Afrofuturism.
comics and things like yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So that would be something I'd be really interested in, is if in the future B-SCI could have like their own panel at a con somewhere.
Ooh,
You know what I
that'd be
mean?
dope,
Ah,
actually.
I feel like that'd be really
yeah, it
cool.
would.
For
Especially for the
sure.
So
gamers. When the gamers
Oh,
mhm.
see, now
the
you're kind
Gen
of
Z
talking my
gamer
language.
convention. Yeah, that sounds like yep. That sounds like you and Chad all the way.
For
Yeah.
sure. One thing that I've gotten into recently too is it's not D&D, but it's similar to D&D. It's called Avatar Legends, and I know there are Black people who watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, and we've been kind of
Absolutely.
trying to have a game. Chad and Josh, who's Chad's brother, have sat in for a game or two. But if people are interested and want to play, like we play every 2 weeks, we've been trying to play every 2 weeks. We don't always do. Sometimes things come up, but listen, like again. it's all about being nerdy, about connecting with those type of people. So like, if you're interested, reach out, I guess.
Yeah, there's always a community for everything.
Hmm.
I don't know too many people that don't know Avatar, so
Right.
I would be surprised if someone wasn't interested in that.
Hmm. Also, it doesn't always have to be like, a lot of it has been thought about as in terms of sci-fi, but people watch other things besides sci-fi. For example, Game of Thrones just came back out with House of the Dragon. Um,
Yeah.
I also remember when it's not, there aren't any more new episodes now, but when Insecure was out, that was great. Like, everyone was watching that. So those are the type of things we could do with RWLD. And then I've been trying to read more. So I've been trying to figure out how to read all of Octavia E. Butler's books. I don't know where to start, honestly. But so if you guys got ideas, like, that would be cool. Or if there's any other sci-fi writers that are also Black, yeah, hey, those could be or Black writers in general. Like, there are a bunch of ways that we can make this work. So we'd be super excited to start doing that soon. So if you got ideas, let us know. And then we're also trying to do other events. Those are still kind of being talked about. I know one thing we have talked about is wellness. So we might reach out to some organizations. And then, yeah, just. Mhm.
Actually, speaking on that, we're hosting Danielle Renee, who is the writer for the Mindful PhD. She just released that book, I think back in April, and she's actually going to come to UGA and do a workshop on wellness and mental health for PhD students and just grad students in general.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I think it would be great to speak on mental health a lot more and wellness and overall wellness, just in general. But just because it's always good to talk about. And August is the I think Mental Health Awareness Month. I think is August. So, but it's always a good thing to be talking about and being aware of. So,
Yeah, especially in grad school, I think it's just one of those things that, like, people need to talk about more. There's always kind of been a stigma around this stuff, but I think as the stigma gets lifted, I think finding ways to talk about it in healthy ways is important. Also, it's August, right? So September, November, elections are coming, people. We've already seen how crazy this past summer has been in the Supreme Court. We won't be too political here, but hey, look, please register to vote. I know I just moved to Texas, like how to become registered to vote in Texas. Wherever you are, please register to vote. Again, we won't say too much more about like what party you should vote for, but there are some pretty extreme things going on. So please just register to vote. Make sure your voice is heard. That's the best way to stop these things. And also outside of that, organize. Like B-SCI is a good place to. We have been to protest before. We also are connected to some other organizations, or not political science, but science organizations that do politics, basically. So we are connected to some of those organizations, and we're always looking for ways to make sure that Black people can get out and vote. So please register. Cannot stress that enough.
I'm on here. I'm making sure that I'm tweeting these links out. So you see me look down. I'm looking at my cell phone because I'm making sure people have these links. What links you?
Yes.
The ones where you can give us $1. So it's 828. We're giving back. We're giving back today. And we need to help B-SCI give back to the community. Continue giving back to the community. Help us with our programming. Help us, help kids learn about science. What does it like to be a Black scientist? All kinds of outreach programming. How can we do that? With monies.
With money.
Where's that money come from? $1 from you. You got $1? Can we have it? Thank you.
Amazing.
Just got to slide that right on in there.
For sure.
That was a good transition, honestly.
It was. You should do ad reach,
Hey, listen. I'm still waiting for Discovery Channel, the History Channel, PBS.
Please.
You know what I mean?
Somebody.
National Geographic. Somebody to notice and say, hey, You know, she's really good at this whole SciComm thing, and she's good at public
Mm-hmm.
health. People listen to what she's got to say, and what she's saying makes sense, and it's true. Because, you know, facts are feelings over here.
Yes.
So, you know, I'm just waiting for them to say, hey, Chanel, you ready? I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. My slide deck is ready, baby. I'm ready. Come say hi. Come say hi.
Yes.
Come say hello. Hit my DM. Shoot me an
Right.
email, thepublichealthbay.com. Hit me up and say, hey, Chanel, we're ready for you. 'Cause I'm
We
ready.
gotta make this happen because, like,
Honestly.
Chanel is like one of the best science communicators I've ever met, and I have, and it's not even a question. So please help this lady out.
And been a part of really big projects, like
Yeah.
especially STEM Noir is like one that
Mm-hmm.
always sticks out to me. I mean, it's just endless. Like, there's nothing that Chanel is in that's not gonna just be raised to the next level just because of her
Honestly,
presence. So
Stimpy was also really good. Like,
Embassy.
so I mean,
yes.
you just come on. I don't know how, like, people like this is Chanel Towson. I can't, like, there's no other way to put it. This is
The
like
fact
me
that we're
saying,
getting
like,
free advertisement today, I'm just like, wow, we are so
right.
grateful.
It's like you just put certain people in certain categories. You're like, all right, like Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Chanel Towson. Just
It all
you just
rolls
put
off the
people.
tongue, you
Yeah,
know? It
you
makes
just put them
sense.
in the same category.
Oh my gosh. Yay. Yay. And it's so awesome to be regarded like highly, right, by your peers, right? There's nothing better than when people who do the same things that you do can say, hey, I like what you're doing. Keep doing that. You're doing good at it.
Mhm.
Like, peer recognition is so important, and it means so much. Thank you all so much. To be loved. To be loved.
Yes.
Oh, what a feeling. To be loved.
It's funny too because I just was back home in Philly for like a good amount of time. I had COVID for some of it, so it sucked. But I got a chance to see Khalil and then one of B-Side's advisors, George Chick Hansen. And while we were there talking, like me and Khalil started talking about some of how we got board members to come on, and we were like, from day one, we've only got number one draft picks. Like it's always been like top people who were like, this person's amazing. I want this person to be part of the organization. And I remember having the first time talking to Chad, the first time talking to Janae. I also remember the first time seeing Jenna, and it's like, she's cool. We should do something. Like, we should make a podcast. And then she was like, "Be scientist." I was like, "Wow, what a name!" But I definitely remember when Chanel had her interview to be part of B-Side. It was just like, if we don't have this lady as part of B-Side, I don't know what we're going to do. It's like it's one of the easiest decisions I've ever had to make.
Exactly.
I like that. I like that.
And we're still growing, right?
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
we're about to get even more first draft picks. Like, I just feel it. I feel it. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, so we are looking for an editorial director for the magazine and also a program director, just to help us with making programs. The editorial director with the B Sciences magazine, we're hoping that's a person who's into science journalism or would be interested in learning science journalism, but also just helping out with B-Side in general and helping create a good organization. And then the same thing, program director. Like we're trying to do programs right now, but we know that there's someone out there who's like an OG at it who could be amazing at it with B-Side. So we're hoping those people, we can find those people, and they can join the team.
Yep.
But we are winding down. We only have about 3 minutes left. So one last time. This is Give A 28.
Hey.
We are trying to donate about $500 this year. That's how much we were asking for last year. We are hoping we can reach that goal because that would go a long way for until next year. Honestly, like we were able to use our $500 last year. One, we bought a Zoom account, which is why we're now talking about programming because we didn't have money to make a Zoom account before. Mics, which helps make the podcast a little bit better and sound better, like consistently. And then just keeping the lights on, honestly, because we also pay for a website, we pay for some other stuff, and without having money, we would not be able to do those things. So, hey, look, as Chanel has been saying this whole time, $1 is really not that much. It would honestly go a long way because sometimes, like, it's only like $1 that we need. So, hey, please
Please.
go and donate on mightycause.org, or just go to giveA28.org and please just give us $1,
You got $1? Can we have it?
please.
Thank you. And if you
Yes,
can't give a
give
dollar, share those
828.
links. Share
Share
those
the
links.
links.
Follow us
Mm-hmm.
on Twitter at the B as in boy, S as in Sam, C as in cat, I as in institute. Okay, Black Science Institute, right? At the B-SCI on Twitter. Follow those links because we need you to share them. Because sharing is not only caring, it's also free 99. It doesn't cost anybody anything to share those links. Okay. So if you can't give a dollar, share it so that somebody else in your network can. We love
Mm-hmm.
you and we love your dollars for our programming. Thank
I
you.
also just looked on giveA28.org. And because B-SCI is an organization that has less than $5,000, um, today if we raise enough money, we have a chance of winning $1,500. So if you donate to B-SCI and we can get more money before 8 p.m., then we can get as much as we has been donated today through B-SCI, and then another $1,500. And I can tell you right now,
It's a
that would be
bonus.
huge for us. Yeah.
Help us unlock that bonus.
A
Please keep giving,
bonus.
keep
Yes.
sharing. Help us unlock that bonus, please. One
Let's get
dollar.
to this bonus. $1. Maybe
I
like
gotta tweet that.
five.
I
We'll
gotta
take
tweet
a
that.
dollar, $2.
I gotta tweet that.
Yes,
Just
because
help
when
us
we
out.
win, we all win, right? And
Right.
this isn't just for us, this is for the community. This is what we're trying to do for the community. And we can't do it without your help. And that's a huge opportunity. So if you want to be a part of something great, $1 is all it'll take. That's my little slogan for today. It's not as good as Chanel's, but I'm trying. I'm
So,
taking notes.
Jenna here always comes up with a good slogan for something. She just came up with that, and Be Scientist, that name, I cannot stress enough that was Jenna. That has become like synonymous. Like honestly, I think just think about those like Be Scientist. Like it just plays in my head. So that's
Mm-hmm.
perfect. So yeah.
But we couldn't have gotten there without us being a team. And
Hmm.
that's what B-SCI is all about. And that's
Yep.
why I'm so honored to be a part of it because everything we do, it's like we're in a big family. And I know that we all care about each other and we want every one of us to succeed. And that's how we put all of our hard work and passion into every project that we do is because we want everyone to succeed and everyone should be able to have access to those tools. And so that's kind of why we're doing what we're doing today. So
I'm
Fair enough.
I'm tweeting that out. Help us reach
that's
that
so
goal. Okay.
exciting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sign on bonus.
Yes.
$1,500, folks. If you donate to B-Side, our chances increase if you donate to B-Side before 8
That's
p.m.
huge.
tonight. So please, 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 that would be huge. So please, donate to B-Side, mightycows.org or with 828.org, and do it there by just searching Institute. But as I said, we're gonna wind down now. This is the Be Scientist podcast, even though today's a live stream. At the end of every episode, we ask our the people who are participating in the podcast, how do they encourage other people to be scientists? Um, so I'll ask the two of you, how do you guys encourage other people to be scientists, and what does that mean to you?
Man, that's a big question. I definitely think that I try to encourage others to be scientists just by showing up a lot of the times. Sometimes it's kind of hard when you're in it yourself. Especially for me, I have a lot of imposter syndrome,
Mm,
but I always have to remind myself that I wouldn't be here unless I was meant to be here. And I know someone else is feeling that same way. So I often just try to reach out to people that I know are thinking about science or even if they're not that interested in science, I just let them know what is possible, what some of the opportunities that I know of are possible, and how I've gotten through it, and just kind of just being there for someone else. So I'm still learning, and um, there's a lot to learn. So the more I show up, the more I can provide to other people.
Yeah.
And then he turns to me. So, so like I was saying earlier, when we first introduced ourselves and whatnot, B-SCI is very near and dear to me for lots of reasons. I think that this is a great people who have come together to do something phenomenal, right? And that's not just talk about science for our own community, but to reach beyond that community, right? Not just people who are already in the sciences, but who are outside the sciences, not just adults, but kids too, right? Get youth into being scientists. And so, a part of what I do with SciComm, not just being, a scientist and talking about science, I like to reach the community. And so, again, near and dear to my heart, I always think it's a great thing when we're talking to the community instead of talking at them. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
We're talking to them and getting them included. And I think it's a wonderful thing. I'm an advocate. I'm a youth advocate, especially when it comes to getting little chocolate faces in the STEM pipeline and letting them know that it really is something that you can do, right? Because when I was a kid, I didn't see a lot of chocolate faces on TV in the sciences, right? I didn't see them in books and I didn't see them in my classroom a whole bunch. And so just having us out here in the first place is representation. Having the voice, though, having a voice and a presence, listen, listen, this is something that you can't replace this. This is something that will always be needed in the spaces that we occupy, but you cannot replace B-SCI with anything else. It's a very unique group, and we're also very different, but we all have
Mhm.
that same accord, right? We're all here for the business of B-SCI, but we're also very different. So again, we're talking about that call for people to come in for the magazine, talking about coming in, help us with other programming. We want you to come and join us, whether it's just to be a contributor, to bounce ideas off, or to contribute just ideas like, hey, we want to see this, because those different voices, they matter so much, and it helps us do what we need to do. I love B-SCI for what they're doing, and I'm so happy for that, and I hope that we can continue the work of B-SCI long beyond what we're doing now.
Fair enough. Uh, I mean, both of those answers were great. The only thing I'll add is that I used to be terrified of being a scientist, and the fact that I not only am now a scientist, but also do science communication and now inspire other people to be scientists is like, I don't know how this happened. I don't even know how I've been so lucky, but
Mhm.
I'm just glad I'm here. So I appreciate the two of you. I appreciate everyone who is part of B-Side. Um, just ending the day again by saying, please donate on giveaway28.org. Um, please. And that we
$1.
will have $1, just $1. And that we will be back with new episodes in the coming weeks for Be Scientist. And we will have more programming coming as well too. You might even catch a video or two on a YouTube channel. Things are happening. So please get on now. And we cannot stress enough that we need that dollar.
Yeah. Oh, but
So
that's not a
please.
bonus, right?
Yeah.
It was $1. And share.
So
Yes.
please donate. And as always, thank you for being scientists with us, and we will catch you next time. Thanks.
See y'all later. Be well.